welcome back to Organic Chemistry. This is the second podcast in our series. This is going to be an isomers. All right. The information for this podcast can be found on page 704 to 708 in your textbook. Today's learning target is going to be to build, draw, identify, and name isomers. All right. An isomer, by definition, occurs when two molecules have the same atoms but different bonds. So in other words here, the molecules have the same formula but different arrangement of the atoms. All right, if you look here, we're going to look at butane. All right, butane is C4H10. All right, 4 carbons, 10 hydrogens from the podcast from before. Its extended formula is going to be CH3 connected to CH2, connected to CH2, connected to CH3. This is the extended formula. All right, here's an isomer for butane below. All right, if you notice, it's still the same number of carbons, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, still the same number of hydrogens. All right, you have your 3, 6, 9, 10 as you head here. All right, the difference is, if you notice, is this connection between carbon right here now. All right, the arrangement of the atoms are a little bit different. Instead of having a straight chain, you have this branch chain right here with the carbon connected here, this group right as well. All right, so take a second right now. Try to draw an isomer for hexane. There's a whole bunch of these. All right, I'm going to show you an example of one right now. All right, I'd start off with here. I go CH3. All right, CH2. All right. So then I would draw CH3 here. Oops, mistake there. This actually should be just CH. I apologize. There we go. This is just CH. To CH2. To CH2. So right now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So finally, this is my 6th carbon right there. So if you notice, instead of having a straight chain where I have this CH3 under here and this one's changed to a 2, I now have a branch chain here. All right, I could have moved this CH3 down to here, change this around, make this a CH and this is CH2, and that would be another isomer. There's many different types of isomer. This is just one example. All right, yours might look a little bit different, but as long as you have a branch chain somewhere around here that looks different, all right, that would be one type of isomer. However, since hydrocarbons are not rigid structures, they can bend, twist, and rotate around the bonds. All right, those are not isomers. That's the hardest part of this whole lesson here, is to figure out the difference between what is an isomer and what's not, because pretty much these carbons are not connected in a different pattern. So if you look here, here's an example. All right, determine if the following 2 examples are isomers or the same molecule twisted or rotated. All right, here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is an example of pentane. All right, so is this pentane an isomer? All right, or is this twisted or rotated examples of pentane? If you notice, you have here and here. They're in different spots, but if you notice something here, take this thing and just turn it around like a mirror. If you were to rotate this entire thing and rotate it around, this would be the exact same thing as this one. All right, so one of these are isomers, but this is the same isomer, it's just switched around. All right, look at this one, example 2. All right, this is a little bit different. This is a good example of an isomer of pentane. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 carbons. All right, here's our pentane. Notice there's C here as opposed to this one here. All right, this was like our first one, and this is 2 different isomers. All right, they're not the same molecules, they're different isomers now because of this one having that CH here and this one just having the C. If you notice, there's 2 different bondings going on here. This C is bonded to 4, this one's only bonded to 3 with the H right there. That is an example of an isomer, whereas the one before, example 1, these are the same molecules. These 2 are different isomers of pentane. All right, simple and easy, fellas and girls. You want to get out your modeling kits now and start working on page 15.